Welcome, Star Family. I am the Magical Medium, and welcome to the Spiritual Guidance Channel. Today we are working with the last quarter moon. Some people refer to it as the third quarter moon, but I am excited to tell you that today is also the 13th in real time, April 13th, 2023. And anytime there's a 13, I can't help but shout out to the goddess, to the divine feminine, to the witches, the healers, and the deep down believers. Sacred number 13. So thank you, Spirit. Ooh, and I looked down, it was 33. Ooh, yes. So if you would indulge me before we jump into these messages, I'm going to tell you the theme. And as you can see before you, we are using the Bird Messages deck, my deck, and the Wisdom of the Avalon deck, or the Wisdom of Avalon deck. And then, as I was pulling this together, this beautiful card that my husband gave me as just a surprise, just to tell me he loves me and give me some flowers, because I always say, you never do anything for me, blah, blah, blah. So he blessed me with that beautiful card, the Monarch Butterfly. And, you know, the other day on Easter / Rebirth Day, Jesus Day, whatever you want to call it, I was blessed enough, my family and I actually were blessed enough to have at least 3 or 4 different butterflies come up to us. We had some dancing around our head. I made some video of it. I haven't posted it yet on Lula's Life as of this moment, but I will be. And just precious moments, just really precious moments. And I felt that rebirth energy. I felt like, you know, Spirit was like, really, what do you want to let go of? Let go of it in this moon cycle. We get a second chance on that black moon when the new moon's in Aries again. We get another chance to work with that energy. So in the meantime, Spirit wanted me to read this to you. So our energy today, we are in the 7th moon phase. It's the third quarter moon, the last quarter moon, but it's the 7th moon phase, okay? There's 8 phases in a moon cycle. And this energy is about transition and forgiveness. So the title is, What People Think of Me Is None of My Business. Yes. So in these messages, in these decks, Spirit is going to talk to us about that. Throat chakra. Speak your truth. It's time to speak your truth, because we are working with transition and forgiveness. And with that being said, I didn't do my normal kind of sit with Spirit, get grounded thing. And my throat chakra is telling me right now that it's time for us to do it. So wherever you are, get comfortable, get comfortable. If you don't want to participate in this, you can kind of, you know, scroll forward. If I'm ever called to do timestamps, I will, but at this moment right now, I'm not getting that. I did see that on a reading today, and I was quite appreciative of it, and that's because she was picking the decks, and I'm like, I don't really need to be through all that, but some people really like that. But this in particular, this is a blessing. This is a sacred communication between us and Spirit. I am going to be acting as a true medium. I have no idea what's going to come through. I never know what's going to come through. I can hear it. I'm there. I'm present. Sometimes I fight it because it's like so like hard for me, you know, because I have to step out of my comfort zone. But either way, it's really awesome. And I'm really feeling like we all need this from Spirit today. So if you would just indulge me, close your eyes, get comfortable, take a sip of water if you need it. Breathe any way that feels comfortable to you. I'm channeling energies and entities, so sometimes you'll hear me breathe softer, sometimes you'll hear me breathe louder. It's just different for whatever I'm channeling and doing that day. So anyway, I'm stretching as well. So get some stretches in there. We're going to get some serious messages today. This isn't a pick a reading. This is just a mass reading for the tribe. That's why we're going to be working with so many different decks. There's going to be different messages, you know. Basically, Spirit is saying, you know, only take what's yours, leave behind what doesn't belong to you. It's easy to get spun out, right? If you're watching a reading that you're really pulled to with your pendulum, they're saying don't be connected to that reading like glue from beginning to end, because it's not every message for you. There might just be little bits and pieces, little sparks, you know, but you don't need to, you know, all of a sudden if it's like, if they're like, hey, some of you got to look at your car, or some of you, something's going on, you know, with some paperwork, whatever, that doesn't mean it's everybody. It means it's a mass reading, and it may be applicable to just one person, but that's a shout out from a spirit guide that's like, hey, whoa. So if it rings true, if it feels good, then it's yours. If it doesn't, then it's not. Okay? Okay, so with that being said, keep our eyes closed, breathing in and out. I call upon my higher self, your higher self, and our spirit guides, our animal guides. I call upon the ancestors, the archangels, and all those who watch out for us, our guardians, who walk with us in the light, in the dark, in the fray. We ask that you come here with love and light and guidance. Darkness is allowed as long as it is not pushing us in an energy or a direction that we are not meant to go in. The light and the dark are part of us. It's a balance of shadow. That's it. That's what shadow really is. That's what Spirit wants you to see, right? You have light, very bright, 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 bright light. Then you have dark, 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 dark. And what's in the middle? Shadow. Because in the shadow, you can see something on top of the light. Do you understand? So our shadow self is a big part of us, and we cannot push it away. It lives inside of us. We need it today and always. I also call upon the healing energies of the universe. In particular, I call upon the Reiki energy. For Reiki translates to our inner chi and our light from the sun, from spirit, from God, Goddess, eternal, our creator. And we thank the moon. We are in the moon cycle, the third quarter moon, where you see half light and half dark. So beautiful friends, family, children of the light, step into your power. Do not be afraid. Do not live in fright. For we are here to guide you and love you and watch out for you. You are so protected beyond any extreme that you can understand in human form. We are here to love and protect you, but also to warn. Just to give you guidance, little heads up, little breadcrumbs to show the way of light, to help you on your healing path, on your plight. Lula's trying to fight us again. Oh, she wants control, but today is a day for all of us. So just breathe and let it flow. Pay attention. And did we mention we have archangels that are here for protection? And we'd like to bow to them in gratitude and reflection. To you, Uriel of the north, of earth, of grounding, thank you for being here today. And with that being said, thank you for connecting us to Sandalphon and the crystalline grid, and Gaia, the earth goddess, and the blessed 13, the divine feminine. Thank you, Spirit. To the east, air, healing, Raphael, we honor you. Thank you for being here today. And from the south, fire, Michael, sword of protection. Water, flow, communication, which leads us to up above, to Metatron, and the stars and the universal energies as above, so below. You are always connected and bonded in this flow. If you are here today, you are special, and you know, because you glow from within and without. It's part of who you are, you bright shining star. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to fight it. Just be it and be excited. We love you so much. We are the Pleiadians. We look out for you, you soft, sweet creatures. You're like honey, sweet and soft like dew. But honeydew melon isn't for everybody. Some people like it, some people don't. So laugh through it, the dark moments. They're teaching you to grow. So go with the flow and let go. And who gives a crap what anybody thinks of you? It's just a reflection of their own goo. And poo-poo on that. You don't need it. But we also don't want to judge it. We want to free it. Because that's the work we do here. We are light workers. We are few and far between. We are the real deal. We're not trying to steal the scene. So, with that being said, we are in transition and forgiveness. So get out of your head. Who cares what other people say about you? It's none of your business. Their thoughts are their own. And even if you are a telepath or a medium, and I see you, oh my, how you've grown. We're so proud of you. So remember to stand out of your emotions and understand that everybody is going through their own proportions and levels of consciousness. And they don't belong to you. And that's okay, because it frees you to do the things that you want to do. So I'm going to give it back to Lula. We're going to have fun today. Look at all the fun things before you. And I will say one more thing. That we love you. And we're proud of you. And every step that you make and every breath that you take, we will be watching you. Thank you, Sting. Have a blessed day. Bye. Love you. Oh, when I looked down, it was 12:03. Oh, that's the number 7. Oh, no. It's number 6. 6. Oh, I wonder if that's going to be powerful. Oh, when I looked down, it was 12:12, which is like, 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, so hi, you guys. Welcome. I'm so excited to dig in. There's a lot going on. I feel like I say that every single reading, but, it does feel that way, doesn't it? Interesting how Spirit had me write it with this yellow pen, like you can barely see it. You can barely see it. But at the same time, it's because I feel like that's where we're at right now. And I'm scratching my head because I feel like for our telepaths and our communicators and those who have special gifts with the other side, we have to remember just because we have these gifts doesn't mean we have to use them every second of every day. Sometimes things come up, right? And we're like, that means something. Like, it means something. You're meant to do X, Y, and Z, whatever. But then other times if it comes up, but you don't have any more communication or any more messages after that, it could just be that that is coming up for a reason. It's trying to get your attention. It also could be that someone else is thinking about you in that energy, and maybe whatever comes into your mind, they want you to utilize that as energy towards them. I've been going through a lot of anger spirals lately, and I've noticed that, I know this may sound silly because I work with the moon. I was born on Moon Day and all that good stuff, but I really realized recently just how much it does make a difference when we're on the light side of the moon and the dark side of the moon. I mean, Pink Floyd really said it, in the most beautiful, prolific and poetic way. I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. The dark side of the moon is like no joke. And it's, shadow people, the shadow self, like that's where we really reflect and think about things. So it's interesting to me that Mercury is going into retrograde at the beginning of a new moon cycle. And also we'll be shifting energies from Aries to Taurus. We'll be going from fire to earth, but we will still be in the fire energy of the Aries moon cycle. And so that's really powerful. And we're going to talk further on that as we move forward. Also, when I looked down, I saw 1414, so that might mean something to you guys. Then I also immediately saw 1415. So it could be, 1414, maybe it's the numbers. It could be 41 and 14 mirroring each other, It could be 5 because 4 and 1 is 5. So it could be 5 and 5, which is change and transformation with the butterflies. But then 1415 is interesting because that's 5 and then, 15 is 6. So that's number 11. So there's a lot of things going on there, whatever it means to you. I'm also feeling a lot of 4s lately, 444s or 14, 1414 like that. So whatever is going on for you, always check in with that. Sometimes, even if you see the same number over and over, this is what I do. I just go into Google and I'll put like 1414 angel number. I let fucking the wheels spin through spirit on whatever search engine, and then whatever comes up first, it's never the same, meaning like, there's so many different people that I really like or whatever, but it's always different. And I feel like that's like our way of, spirit giving us a wink, wink. And sometimes I don't even go into the whole entire website. I just read the first few sentences, and maybe it is just a wink, wink from spirit saying like, you're doing really good, or keep going, or, whatever that is. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I just noticed right here that the birds are upside down. I did not notice that. So since we're here, I'm going to go straight into the deck. Because look, this is how it's supposed to look. It's the part of the wing for the owl. Isn't that interesting? So let's talk about that for a second. I'm going to turn this over just for a second. I don't really care to see the barcode, so I'll put that there. I know that they have to exist for whatever, but so if we do not pull these cards, I'm going to tell you right now that the peacock, the rhinoceros hornbill, and the pheasant want to work with us. Also on the back is swan and flamingo, the way they had me turn it around. So I don't know what we're going to pull, but for some of you, maybe you've been seeing swan. Also, what's really interesting about this part is down here at the bottom of the Wisdom of the Avalon deck, there's a little swan. And at first I had this kind of here, and it was covering the swan. And then I heard from spirit, no, don't cover the swan. So I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And now look at that. So swans may be coming up for you. It's different for everybody. I never try to, there's so many of us, that watch it, that I really try to stay as loyal as possible to the messages that spirit is putting out. So let's just see what we're going to hear, what we want to. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, you know what, that must mean something to you guys, because the Spice Girls have been coming out like crazy lately, like crazy. So, maybe it was something when you were younger, maybe it's music, maybe for some of you, it's like spirit's trying to get you, to step out of your comfort zone. So like, do a dance of, one of your favorite Spice Girls songs. I mean, seriously, on video, and, show it to the world, because I am getting this vibe from spirit that they want us to be a little more brave. What's that song? I want to see you be brave by Sarah Bareilles. Every time I hear it, I swear it's always in a time, spirit will always play it in a time where I really, really need to hear it. And I'll just start bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I want to see you be brave. I'm like, you're right. Okay, I'll keep going. Because I'm having them lately, trust me. I don't know about you guys, but I've been having a lot of like, I get doubt a lot, and I'm working on that. I know it's spirit's timing, and I preach this shit all fucking day long, but it's different when it's you. It just is. It just is. And it sucks because it's just part of us, It's, oh, come on, shut it. Oh my gosh. When I was growing up, I had these friends, this group of friends who I miss dearly. Actually, there's so many of them that it would take me a long time to name them all off. But one of our group friends, Brian, his name is Brian Koenig. He's like one of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. He's hilarious. And it was the way he would always phrase things. Like, I mean, I felt like he was gay before he came out, because just the way he talked, I didn't know any straight man that spoke that way. And it wasn't anything against, I loved him dearly, but I was just like, dude, you are fucking hilarious. I don't even look at him as like having a sex, if that makes any sense. Anyway, but he used to be like, shut it. He'd be like, shut your mouth. He'd be like, shut the fucking door, shut the front door. But then, and then after a while, he just stopped saying anything, and all he would say is, shut it. Shut it. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I can hear him in my head right now, and I miss him so much. Anyway, bald eagle, from a strong foundation, you may build anything. Interesting. Okay, strong foundation. So I feel like this wants to come back here. Strong foundation, you can build anything. You can build anything. With a strong foundation, you can build anything. That is the truth. That is the truth. And I think you know, for some of us, look at how the light is hitting this. I really wanted to go natural light today, and they really insisted on using the flash. And I was like, I get it. You know, these bird cards are pretty and all that. You know, they want all the colors and stuff. But yeah, I mean, think about it. When you're building a house, if you do not have a strong foundation, the house will fall apart. If you do not have a strong foundation, you cannot build a proper structure. So with that being said, I don't feel like they want us to go into the book at this moment. I want to see if they want me to pull any more cards. Let me see. Do we want to go into the book yet? Do you want to go into the book right now? Yeah, I kind of didn't feel that either. And I don't know if my eyes are going to the Wisdom of the Avalon, so we may pull from my deck last. Sorry, bud. That was Tony, who was once a unicorn, but I used to sleep with him and holding him in my hands. And one morning I woke up and I didn't even realize it until later that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what happened to his face? I'm like, what happened? Yeah, I broke it in the middle of the night. I clearly needed love that bad that rose quartz broke in my hand. How crazy is that? Have you ever had that happen to you? I've done that with many crystals, actually. My one friend was kind of pissed at me, and I said to him, take it as a blessing, man, because he had this piece of fluorite, and I was house watching. There's house and pet sitting for him, his familiar sitting, and I fell asleep, or I don't remember if it was him falling asleep or if I was just like watching TV or something, but I had his fluorite in my hands, and I felt it getting really hot and sweaty and stuff. But anyway, long story short, it broke in my hands, and that happens to me a lot. 2111. I don't say it like, oh, look at me, I break crystals. It's like, no, just like that's how much I needed the healing. That it's like I sucked it out. You know what I mean? Like I was not in good shape. So anyway, with that being said, if any of those mean anything to you, fluorite or the rose quartz, if you have some, I'm hearing from Spirit to use it. Okay. Oh my goddess. I mean, what? What the fucking fuck? By the way, you guys, I would apologize for my potty mouth, my pirate mouth lately, but I don't know where it's coming from. It's just coming out, and I don't want to edit myself because I feel like when I edit myself, even like if you ever hear me stuttering when I'm channeling, it's because I'm trying to control it. And Spirit's like, why can't you just be yourself? And I was like, because you know, the funny thing is when I watch readings and people swear, I laugh. I think it's funny. So if it's off-putting to you, maybe I'm not the reader for you, you know? And for other people, they're like, dude, I don't even notice you swearing. I'm like, oh, okay. You know? By the way, look at this. Number 3. What? We were talking about number 6 and 12. 3, 6, 12. Very interesting. So, messages of Avalon, the king, man, authority, male sexual energy, things pertaining to the law and justice. Interesting that we're talking about transition and forgiveness. And the king comes out. So, interesting for me personally, one of the main quandaries I have been having with Spirit is why this divine masculine energy is like all over my life, but not in a good way, where I'm just like, I feel, and this is going to make me sound like a brat, and I hear myself, I know, but I'm just being honest with you. I'm being very transparent, but I've been very frustrated because I feel like I'm dealing with little boys, teenage boys, not in everybody, but in the people that I'm having the most struggle with. It's their divine masculine that I'm fighting back from. Recently, someone had said to me, why does our spirit work have anything to do with politics? And I said, because it does. And I'm not here to tell you who to vote for, who to believe in, what to, you know, whatever. But in my world, I can only tell you what I see. And as a telepath, a seer, a channel, medium, whatever the fuck, you know, it doesn't matter. They're just titles and layers of different parts of my tools and my gifts that I was given to help humans and myself as a human navigate through this huge transitional time on the planet. Also, they had me be born at the beginning of the age of Aquarius. So by this time, at 50 years old, you know, unfortunately, in certain places, people's age is not taken as a credit. And, you know, I remember one of my roommates was much younger than me, and she had to put me in my place several times because I would say, oh, honey, I have a lot more age on you, or I'd say certain things. And it was ego and it was whatever. And she's like, just because you're older than me doesn't mean that you're wiser than me. And, you know, and I was like, she was right. And I learned so much from her. You know, and so we have to remember that just because people are our elders or they have a strong masculine energy, you feel like they have a hold over you in some way, it doesn't mean that we, you know, give into it. But we do have to set our boundaries. And that can be tough, right? Because we love people. And so I had this situation recently where, you know, I realized, I was like, I really, really love this person, but I don't like this person right now. And that's okay, that we don't have to like everybody all the time. Just like we are not going to be liked all the time. Just like our theme says, what people think of me is none of my business. Who fucking cares? Let it go. Let it go. And I am telling you with my own strength and my weakness behind that. But my strength before you is as a leader and as the person who's going through it myself right now. I am telling you, we have got to push back with love, even when it hurts, even when we don't feel that grace. Today I posted a shorts and grace was in there. It was a message from Spirit for all of us. Like right now, it's going to, well, if you're drawn to it, because it did have some timeline stuff in there. So I kind of feel like whoever sees it, sees it. It's like, it's one of those, sometimes I have readings on my shorts that 17 people see it. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, and then sometimes it's like hundreds of people, thousands of people. And I'm like, why? You know, is it just the song? Is it just, you know, because I'll use really popular songs and not because I'm trying to like get, you know, because Spirit has me use that song, right? It's a short story. It's helping people, you know, it's why I use music so much in my work on both of my channels. It's because, you know, I work with Spirit and music. It's a part of me. I'm a musician. I'm an artist. Like, you know, it's just part of like my process. And I've been realizing that I haven't been able to be as artistic as I've wanted to be in certain ways because of, I feel like I've been held back. And I said to my husband the other day, I'm like, I feel like there's just like this barrier that I can't fucking get through. And it doesn't matter how hard I try. And then when I try really hard and it's still not working, I just give up. I give up. I start to cry and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to even, you know, and I feel like I'm starting to notice the pattern that when the new moon starts, I'm like, a new start, everything's great. And this moon, I'm going to conquer this. And this moon, I'm going to conquer that, you know. And then by the time it gets to the third quarter moon, the seventh, you know, we've gone through 7 moon cycles now in this one cycle. I'm kind of like, you know. And if you remember at the beginning of this moon cycle, Spirit told us to slow our roll, told us not to try too hard, told us not to push, told us not to, you know, and what do I am doing? I'm doing the same fucking things. You guys must be doing it too. Because a lot of us are very controlling, and we're controlling because of our gifts and our abilities that were told to us as not as gifts and abilities. They were hindrances, right? I also posted this shorts recently on Lula's life, talking about, you know, being an empath, all the horrible things that people have said to me throughout my life from the time I was born until now. Even at 51 years old, people will still say certain things to me. And I'm like, I don't know who I am. Like, I don't understand. Like, you know, or, you know, people are really throwing around empath now. You can have empathy for people and not be an empath. And if you are wondering, if you think you're an empath, I want you to actually go and research, ask Spirit, meditate before you do it, at least a minute or two. Just close your eyes, sit with Spirit before you go on a search engine or YouTube or wherever it is, and just say, Spirit, am I an empath? And if I am, you know, or however you want to word it, and just be like, bring me a test, because there are actually tests that true empaths have actually put together to let you know if you're an empath. Because you may just be somebody who has empathy. Just because you cry in movies doesn't mean you're an empath, you know? It's very, very deep being an empath. And there are also, just so you know, there are different levels of empaths. Just like there are different levels of angels. And I remember one time I saw something, maybe it was Satguru or something, and they said, you know, if you think that there are levels, then you've already lost, because we're all one and we all come from the same place and nobody's above and nobody's below. And all I can tell you from my own personal experience with my spirit guides and my journey at this point in my life, it may change, but in this moment in my life, that is incorrect. And it makes sense because there's a reason why we've had this imagery of the pyramid our entire lives. That's why they're everywhere on the planet. It's to show us that everything starts from something and trickles down. So it makes sense that some of us that are on the planet right now are at a different level of consciousness because we have been here on Earth through different incarnations, different time periods, you know, different sex, whatever. Like, I'm a woman in this life, but I am absolutely positive that I've been a man before. And not only that, but I have vivid memories and like moments where I'm like, I was absolutely some type of fucking ninja, Jedi, whatever, but it definitely feels Asian. And so I feel like it's ninja more than that. And then yesterday, out of nowhere, we were talking about something, or we were watching something, and my husband said, yeah, that's because he's a monk or something. There was these ninjas. And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, you know, most nunks, nunks, I love it. I love you, Spirit. I'm going too fast. Most, or not most, a lot of the ninjas were actually monks. So I'm going to leave that there for a second. You know what I mean? So there's some very interesting things that are happening right now, and they just want us to align with our divine masculine energy. But also, I feel like for some of us, like, there is somebody who's in a position of authority. And I said to my husband yesterday, I go, I don't care anymore. Like, because he's still struggling with certain things in that area. And I am too. We just have we're just going through our own stuff. But his one thing, I was like, oh, not me anymore. I'm like, no, I don't care. I'm at the point, I say it like it is, because I don't have time. I don't have time. I try to candy coat it or make it funny, or, you know, that's why I started Lula's Life. Some of my posts are really serious. Some of them are really funny, you know, and it's funny to me, by the way. The last Willy Wonka one, I was like laughing so hard. The golden ticket was so funny to me, but to somebody else, they may not think it's funny at all. You know, humor is also very subjective. Anyway, but I feel like a lot of us are dealing with somebody in our life who's some type of authority figure. And that authority figure could even be your partner. Say you're a stay-at-home mom and your partner is, you know, it doesn't matter what you align with, your gender. But I'm saying, like, in the energy, your partner is really masculine. If they're the ones that are paying the bills, you know, it's you may not be doing the things you want to do, or, you know, because you're like, oh, you know, I'm not working, or and you know what, though? You are working. If you're here watching this reading, you're a natural light worker, like you came here to do something. So also notice that he's got a scepter in one hand and he's got a sword in the other. So I'm definitely feeling like air sign. So this can be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So either this is you or this is them that's in your life. But also it says things pertaining to the law and justice. So interesting, because an air sign is Libra. So it could definitely be Libra. Interesting as well that in between there, we've got the eagle flagging you on the left and the butterfly on the right. And it's a monarch butterfly. You know, it's a monarch butterfly. And I feel like this is Spirit saying, like, you need to break free from this, you know, patriarchal energy, because it's not helping you. It's not helping you at all. And it's bringing you down. It's bringing you to a place where you don't feel good about yourself. So, oh my gosh, look at this. Because your wealth resides in your freedom, number 34, which is also the number 7. And if you don't feel free and you feel like you're tethered to somebody else's problems or drama or whatever, it's just not going to work. And look at this, by the way. Look at this symbol in here. It's like a water. It looks like a water symbol. This looks like a water symbol. So they call them the sacred journey markers. Let me see if Spirit wants me to read from that book, because sometimes there's a message there. But I do feel like for some of you, it is the wealth. And I feel like they're keeping you back from your wealth. Okay. Do we want to read from the Wisdom of the Avalon deck? Okay, no. They're saying we're on the right track. We're on the right track. But you're a butterfly now. And I also feel like for some of you, when you started your journey, that you were a lot more afraid. So whatever, I feel like that was one part of the group. And then I feel like the other part of the group, you guys are ready to soar. You're about to fly. You're about to leave the nest. And interestingly enough, like, it looks like they're flying into the nest. So it could even be that for some of you, like, literally, like, you're about to go into your own home. And do you notice how the bird is by themselves? Wow, that's really powerful. Look at, from a strong foundation, you may build anything. Yes. Also, I'm hearing for some of you, I feel like you bet on the wrong horse in terms of pairing with someone that you thought, like, maybe when it started, like it was a good match, you were on the same road. You thought you were laying a foundation with this person. And I kind of get the vibe from spirit that, it's not. And I feel like you know this already, but it's time to let it go, because it's not gonna, literally, I feel like you already know. And this goes two ways, because I feel like for some of you, it's been a long relationship. And for some of you, I feel like it's only been like maybe 6 months to a year, maybe even shorter than that. But like, you know, sometimes like I met my husband now, like the first date, I was like, oh my gosh. But like the first time we talked, like through the internet, we hadn't even seen pictures of each other. It's a long story how we met and everything, but we didn't know what each other looked like, nothing. And the more we started talking, it was like, yeah, I believe in that too. Or, oh my gosh, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And blah, 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 blah. And we just like kind of followed the light, you know, we followed the light, and we were on our own. We were solo, strong, you know, on our own. And then eventually, you know what? We met in person. And when we first met, I'll be honest, I was like, oh no. I was like, he's not, you know, me. And we were very much like Green Acres. And, you know, I was like Zsa Zsa Gabor, like coming from like working in fashion, living in major cities, you know, and like he was, you know, a country boy, you know, grew up in, he's okay, I say this, but he grew up in a trailer park. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just giving you a visual. And I grew up in a nice little suburb, you know, very protected from the world. And so if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have even became who I am today. And if I hadn't given him the time of day, if I hadn't given him the wealth, if I hadn't allowed my insight, if I hadn't allowed my insight to guide me, I would have walked away from him. In fact, I had several friends who told me he was wrong for me. And look, there's a sun on here. And we've got the moons here, and we've got water and labyrinth. And I, you know, because that was for me, water for my Scorpio moon. Anyway, long story short, I'm feeling the same for you guys. I don't want to go off on a tangent. This isn't about me. But I do feel like for some of you, let's see if there's, and again, go and find that shorts. It says, if you go on my shorts, like the picture that it's showing, it says joy. And it's the latest shorts I did today on April 13th. And I don't know if they're going to repost anymore today, but right now. Okay, so, ooh, look at this. Oh, I hear, okay, so I'm getting from spirit, for some of you, you started to follow the moon cycles. And I'm not just, this happened naturally, okay? But you guys, that reading I was just telling you about, that shorts, I think the first card I pulled was Moon. It was my deck. I used my deck. But yeah, Joy was on the cover of that one. So this is very interesting. Okay, I just got the chills. Are there any more messages? Are there any more messages from this deck? Any more messages from this deck? I feel like there's still one more card that wants to come out. Okay, do we want to read books now? Oh my goddess, look what's on the bottom. So the swan is obviously really important. We've worked with the swan a lot. Number 12, look at, oh my gosh, what did I just say? We're in transition and forgiveness. What is transition? It's transformation and trusting the psychic gifts. And number 12, oh my gosh, you guys, what is this with the 3, 6, and the 12? And then we have the number 7 too. I'm a life path 7. I don't know if you guys are, if 7 significant for you. But also remember that everything goes in cycles of 7. So definitely work with the swan. Spirit medicine. Spirit, do we want to pull any more cards today from any other decks? Yeah, I wasn't feeling that either. Do we want to read any books today? Anything from the books? Are there any hidden messages in these books that might help our tribe today? Would it be the birds? Would we like to, are we going to read from the birds today? Okay, wonderful. 38, 34. So we are going to read from the bald eagle. Hold on. Also, before I start this, Spirit wanted me to say, for those of you who were struggling with, I'm going to actually zoom in on the eagle because since we're hearing from the eagle right now. Some of you who are really struggling, okay? And maybe when you heard that comment about the relationship, they're saying it's okay. It's better to find out now than to keep going. And I'm hearing this from 2 different ways. One, those of you who are in a shorter relationship, I'm hearing better to find out now than to spend another year. For those of you who are in a longer relationship, they're like, same thing. Better to do this now than wait another how many X, Y, and Z years, put in how many years you've been with that person. You know, also we have to remember that people are going to change at their own pace when they are ready. And if they're not ready, there's nothing you can do about it. And also, I'm feeling like this kind of king of the castle stuff needs to go. Like whoever is doing this to you, to be honest with you, all of a sudden, this didn't happen before, but now I'm kind of getting this. What's upsetting me is from a strong foundation, you may build anything, exactly, but they don't want you to have a strong foundation. Because God forbid you leave. Because if you leave, they have, number one, no one to abuse anymore. Number two, no one to control anymore. And number three, they have to fucking look at themselves. And I know that's tough, but that's not your problem. You have done the work. Now it is time for you to go out on your own. I'm feeling this is I'm feeling this is a message for multiple people. And if this isn't a lover or a loved one or a spouse, I'm telling you, this is somebody who's your boss, or like, I feel like whoever kept coming up for you during this reading, this is the person. Or like when they were talking about the King card and like the different energies, you know, and astrological signs, I feel like you know. Okay, so close your eyes and listen as we hear from the bald eagle. If you can, if you're driving, we understand. Okay. Eagle, majestic predator of wide blue skies, is feathered power incarnate. 7,000 feathers cover her mighty body. Come on, the number 7. And we're on the Divine Feminine today with the number 13. I couldn't make it up if I tried. I love you, Spirit. Sorry, I just said. Amazing. Okay. 7,000 feathers cover her mighty body, their magic allowing her to soar so near the mystic that Native American Indians recognize her as a symbol of divinity. Sky dancer supreme at 10,000 feet, eagle locks talons. Ooh, lacks. That's a Freudian slip for somebody. Interesting. What are you lacking, sweet eagle? Sky dancer supreme at 10,000 feet, eagle locks talons with her lifelong mate, and together they cartwheel spectacularly toward earth and sea, only breaking free seconds away from impact. If eagle has whirled into your cards, she speaks to you not of power, but of the foundation on which it is built. The foundation from which she came, and which she in turn will give to her chicks, a great nest, which may stretch upward to 20 feet and reach 9 feet wide, a nest that any chick will feel safe in. She counsels that you too prepare diligently for the challenges ahead and provide them for others that you love. For from secure beginnings, everything is possible. That is just too beautiful for words. 4228. Wow, that just got a thing for me right there. And, you know, once in a while, I like to take the cards. So, and I kind of switch them up and I close my eyes and I see what order Spirit wants to put them in. And then I put them back in for you just in case there's an extra message for somebody else. So I'm going to pause it. And then when the image comes back, just look at it for a second. We're going to take a few seconds on our way out. Okay, hold on. So I'm going to give you a minute to just look at it. We have moon, wealth, bald eagle, the king, and the monarch butterfly. And I don't want anything standing in your way. Nothing. Nothing will stand in your way. Use the moon as your guide. At least, you know, you don't have to do what I'm doing, but at least until you get the moon cycles down to a habit, till you start recognizing the energy and you're like, oh, yep, we're in shadow. Yep, look at the moons, you know. But keeping a moon calendar, a moon journal, keeping a journal in general, but if you keep the moon cycles in there, you can have any journal. You can get, you know, you don't have to buy something fancy. You can just get a, you know, from the $1.25 store, whatever you need, you know. But then research and say, what's the moon cycle today? And then you'll start seeing how things go. And once you do, you'll start going in the flow. But whatever this means to you, all I can tell you is when I saw this, I saw once you get aligned with spirit, the moon, the cycles of energy, humanity, the universe. The wealth will be beyond anything you can imagine. You will have a strong foundation to build on, and you will be the king. And it doesn't matter what you align with, but you will have that divine masculine energy secure, tight. You'll know how to, keep your boundaries, how to, be in an authority energy. You'll know how to, balance the scales of your own life. And for some of you, it may just be that you're out to demand justice. Maybe it's time. Maybe you've just been spending way too much time, allowing that energy to take you over. And Spirit's like, no. Open your mind, your heart, and your soul to love, to peace, to happiness, and everything will fall in line. I promise you. Oh, you guys, until next time, take really good care of yourselves and each other. I love you so much. Blessed be. Oh.